Hi, I'm Pete, and welcome to Just a Few Acres Farm. Look at all this hay. We finally got enough to feed through the rest of the year and through the winter. We bought in about 50 bales last week, and these are solid, heavy bales, and that adds to about 50 that we've bought previous to this. So a lot of pressure's off. We can make it through the winter now. Yes, I know it's a jumbled mess, and I didn't even have enough room in the barn to put them all in there, mainly because I have all that old equipment in there, and I can't leave that outside. So the mess will be gone pretty soon as we feed it to the cows. That cow that's yelling was separated from her calf way back when we divided the herd. Well, for 2 weeks she was completely quiet and happily eating hay. And then all of a sudden, after 2 weeks, she figured out her calf was gone, and she's been belly aching ever since. Sometimes it takes a little while for the wheels to turn. Today, Hilarie and I are moving the turkeys, which we do once each week when we have turkeys on pasture. And like a lot of jobs on the farm, over the years we've each refined our roles and found the simplest and quickest way to get the job done. We take the Super C out to the pasture and park it in the area adjacent to the turkeys. Inside the area we'll move the fence to. The turkeys know something is up. Then I disconnect the power line to their fence. Next, Hilarie and I start taking up the fence from their previous paddock. This was the paddock that they were in the week before the one they're in now. The turkey's fence is made from 2 lengths of Premier 1 Electronet, each about 150 feet long. Hilarie pulls the fence posts and I carry the fence. There's a particular way to gather up Electronet. Never roll it up or you'll have a heck of a time unrolling it because the wires all catch on the posts. Instead, hold on to the posts and gather them up and let the net loop underneath them.
Do you want to turn over here and work that way?
Yeah, I guess that's the best. We stretch out the first fence. When the ground is dry like this, the posts are really tough to get in. And if the post hits a rock, and it doesn't even matter if it's a small rock, we have to move it a few inches and try again because the ground is so hard. It's really frustrating, and Hilarie and I take turns pushing the posts in. Then we go back and pull up the second length of fence. To pasture the turkeys, we use 4 lengths of fence total. 2 are around the current enclosure and 2 more for making the new enclosure. We start the second fence where we started the first one. That way the pigtails to attach the power from the fence are together because they're located on the end of the fence, and that way we can run a single wire to power both of the fences. This part of the fence goes along the current enclosure, and we leave some of the sections on the ground so the turkeys can move into the new area once we get the new fence up. Then we set the rest of the fence, completing the enclosure. Electronet fence is not my favorite thing to work with. Besides it being difficult to set in dry ground, it tends to get tangled in my boots when I'm carrying it, and I wind up tripping and having to stop to untangle it. I guess it's a necessary evil. If we have extra fence, we overlap the 2 ends. We don't want any of the fence laying on the ground because it's going to be energized. What's it like, Hill?
It's like putting a nail through a rock.
It's not a fun job.
Very hard.
Now we can drop the fence on the current enclosure and let the turkeys through. Herding turkeys is lots of fun. Henry comes out to help. It's one of his favorite jobs. That quick chirp they make is the "here's something good" chirp. They always make it when they're moved to new grass. I bring the tractor through to hook it to the turkey ark, watching out not to run over any turkeys. They seem to want to stay in place until the wheel's about 3 inches from them, so it's a slow go. After moving the ark into the new enclosure, I pull the tractor back into the old enclosure. Then I put up the fence to complete the new enclosure. The turkeys are in their new home. The pigtails at the end of the two fences get clipped together. What's this funny business? Then we move the wire that's hooked to the main fence over to the new turkey enclosure and secure it to the pigtails. Now we can turn the fence charger back on. The turkeys are 9 weeks old now. If you saw the previous video I did on the turkeys, they're all tom turkeys, so they're growing pretty fast. There are about 110 turkeys and they're eating about 100 pounds of grain every day. We're getting nervous about how big they're getting, so we decided to weigh a couple today. Most of our orders are for 12 to 14 pound birds, so we want to make sure they don't get too big. We brought the scale and a bin to put the turkey in out with us. First I get the tare weight of the empty bin. It's about 7 pounds. It's not from hell. This doesn't weigh anything. The turkey weighs 12 pounds, not including the weight of the bin. So to figure out what the dress weight would be, I multiply 12 pounds by 0.7. That's 8.4 pounds. They need 2 or 3 more weeks to get to the 12-pound dress mark. And the second turkey is about the same weight. When we're raising hens and toms together, we try to weigh a hen and a tom, and there's usually quite a difference, but these are all toms and they're all about the same size. Turkeys are fun to watch. We keep this old basketball hoop with them to help ward off predators, and it helps keep them busy too. Turkeys are voracious grass eaters. In a week they'll clip the pasture down so it looks like a lawn. When we have taller grass than this, they'll do the same thing. And they won't dig holes like our laying chickens do, so that's an added bonus. Plus, they'll put down a lot of manure to fertilize the pasture. If they eat 700 pounds of feed in a week, because they're eating about 100 pounds a day now, and they have a 3-to-1 feed to weight gain conversion ratio, which means for every 3 pounds of feed they eat, they gain a pound, and they might be even doing a little bit better than that. That means they'll drop about 450 pounds of nitrogen-rich manure in this pasture before they're moved again in a week. I think that's a pretty elegant way to fertilize the pasture. No artificial chemicals involved, the birds dropping it right on the ground and eating the grass at the same time. It's a win-win. Most of farming is short jobs like moving the turkeys, all strung together one after another, and they repeat on a daily or a weekly or a seasonal basis. Having turkeys is like money in the bank for us. They all sell on pre-order, and that week before Thanksgiving, they all go out the door and they form our biggest single paycheck of the year. So we're always happy to see them growing in the pasture, and hopefully we'll have a good harvest this year. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.